All right, so get ready, because today we're going deep on something kind of surprising, the psychology of attraction. And not just any attraction, we're talking about why younger women might be into older men.
Yeah, it does sound a little like tabloid fodder, right?
It does, but the source material we're looking at goes way beyond those surface assumptions, I promise.
Yeah, it really digs deep.
So to kick things off, the source actually claims that a lot of older men, they underestimate their appeal.
They do. It's really interesting. They see younger guys as competition and just sort of assume it's game over.
Yeah.
But the source flips that whole script, suggesting that older men might actually have a leg up in the dating game.
Okay, so let's unpack that a little bit.
Yeah.
The source is saying older men have some things going for them that they maybe don't even realize.
Yeah.
What are some of those hidden advantages?
Well, the source points to maturity, confidence, and emotional intelligence. And those can be really appealing to younger women. And, these qualities, they aren't tied to age per se, but they definitely tend to grow and deepen with life experience.
It's like those qualities are like a fine wine or a perfectly worn leather jacket. They just get better with time, right?
Totally.
The source actually uses the phrase distinguished, not declining, to describe those traits.
Oh, yeah, I love that. And it makes sense, when you think about it. Maturity can equal greater stability, like a sense of calm in a world that can feel super chaotic.
Yeah.
Younger women might actually crave that, like a grounding presence, especially if everyone around them is still figuring things out.
Right, totally.
Yeah.
Okay, so then there's confidence. I imagine as you get older, it becomes less about, like flashy displays and more about that quiet self-assuredness, like
Right.
the confidence that comes from knowing yourself. Is that what the source is saying?
Absolutely. And the source makes a distinction between confidence and arrogance.
Right, huge difference.
Huge difference. True confidence isn't loud or boastful, It's more like an inner knowing.
Yeah.
It just sort of radiates outward.
It makes other people comfortable.
Exactly. And that is attractive, because it makes other people feel comfortable and secure.
Yeah, totally. It makes me think about how some of the most charismatic people I know are actually not the loudest people in the room at all.
Nope.
They're just the ones who are totally at ease
Mm-hmm.
with themselves. Their confidence, it's like a magnet.
It is.
You're just drawn to it.
And then you add in emotional intelligence.
Yes.
The source really argues that this is a big one, a major differentiator for older men.
Okay, and to be clear, we're talking about more than just being in touch with your own emotions.
Right. It's not just that. It's also being attuned to how other people are feeling.
So it's like reading between the lines, picking up on those unspoken needs, and responding thoughtfully,
Yeah.
not getting defensive.
Yeah.
Instead of getting defensive, exactly.
I can see that's a huge plus, especially if you're used to being with partners who might be, well, less emotionally mature. Yeah, for sure. The source actually gives examples of active listening and responding thoughtfully instead of, just reacting without thinking, which, let's face it, takes practice.
It does. It makes me wonder, do you think younger women, especially those who might be surrounded by, let's say, less mature men, are kind of subconsciously seeking out these qualities in older men?
That's a really good question, and the source does hint at that a little bit.
Yeah.
It suggests that younger women might be drawn to that depth, emotional depth, and also the stability that often comes with, having more life experience.
Right, that makes sense. Okay, so we've got these core qualities: maturity, confidence, emotional intelligence. But the source dives into so many other psychological triggers for attraction, right?
It does, yeah.
I mean, where do we even start with all that?
Well, one that really stands out is scent.
Scent.
You might not think it's a big deal, but the source says that a man's scent can actually be a powerful, subconscious cue
Really?
for women.
I always kind of thought that was more of a marketing ploy,
Yeah,
like the cologne industry trying to sell us something.
yeah.
But the source actually gets into why scent matters. So what's the deal?
Well, it explains how our sense of smell is directly tied to our emotions.
Interesting.
So certain scents, they can trigger strong memories and feelings,
Mm-hmm.
often without us even realizing it.
Subconsciously.
Subconsciously, yeah. And for women in particular, this connection between scent and emotion is even more pronounced.
Wow. So a good cologne, chosen carefully, could actually make a man more memorable.
That's what the source is saying.
It's like creating this link in her mind between a good feeling and you.
Exactly.
That's fascinating.
And the source suggests that older men, they tend to have more refined tastes. and they know their signature scent.
They've had more time to experiment.
They've had time, exactly. So
Yeah.
they can really use that to their advantage.
But it's not just about, like, dousing yourself in cologne,
Yeah.
right?
No, definitely not.
There's got to be some nuance to it.
It's an art. It's like understanding what works for you and, creating a more subtle and appealing scent,
Right, like a signature.
a signature scent.
Hmm.
The source even goes so far as to say that it can be like an extension of your personal brand.
Interesting.
Another way to communicate, who you are, your individuality, your sophistication.
Yeah.
It's interesting, isn't it?
It is. It's like you're leaving this subtle but lasting impression long after you've left the room.
Exactly.
Okay, I'll admit, you've kind of sold me on the importance of scent.
All right.
What else does this source point to? Because it really seems to be pushing back against the idea that attraction is all superficial.
It is.
It's like digging into the psychology, all these subtle triggers. What else does it explore?
It also brings up presentation, and it's not about like chasing after trends or anything like that.
So we're not talking about trying to dress like someone half your age.
No, not at all. It's more about showing that refinement that comes with experience.
So it's more about understanding what looks good on you, investing in quality pieces, paying attention to the details.
Exactly.
Okay.
The source emphasizes well-fitted clothes, good grooming, and overall attention to detail. It's really about presenting yourself with care and intention.
Which shows self-respect, I guess.
Absolutely.
And, there's that old saying, clothes make the man.
Right.
But it's not about being flashy or anything.
No.
It's about knowing your style and, presenting yourself in a way that shows confidence.
And as the source points out, first impressions,
They happen fast.
they happen so fast, in seconds.
Yeah.
People are making judgments about you based on, your appearance. So putting effort into that presentation can really make a difference.
It's like you're communicating so much about yourself without even saying a word.
you
Our
are.
clothes, our grooming,
Just how we carry ourselves.
your demeanor. Yeah. It all adds up to an impression.
Right.
And a good presentation can really be powerful.
It can be. It can convey your personality, your values, your confidence. It's like saying, hey, I care about myself and how I present myself to the world.
Okay, you've convinced me presentation matters. So we've got scent, we've got presentation, but this source seems to be saying that there's so much more to attraction than just those surface level things. What else? What about emotional maturity?
That's a big one.
Yeah.
And this is where the source suggests that older men might have a real advantage.
Okay, so we're talking about more than just being in touch with your feelings.
Right.
It's about being able to handle them well, responding to challenges calmly, not getting flustered easily.
Yes. And navigating disagreements maturely. It's about showing stability and self-control even when things get tough.
Right.
And the source says that younger women often find this grounding energy really reassuring.
It makes sense, especially if you're surrounded by people who are still figuring out their own emotional landscape.
Yeah.
Being with someone who's got that emotional maturity, it's like a safe haven.
It can be, yeah.
Yeah.
And the source goes on to say that this emotional maturity, it often leads to better relationship skills overall.
Well, yeah, if you've been through more, learn from those experiences.
Exactly. Older men have likely, been through more breakups, learned from their mistakes,
Yeah.
developed healthier patterns in relationships.
So it's not just about like avoiding drama. It's about knowing how to actually work through those inevitable disagreements.
Yes.
How to communicate what you need, how to create a dynamic of respect
Mutual respect, yeah.
in the relationship. Okay, so it sounds like we're talking about more than just, not having outbursts or whatever. Emotional maturity also includes being able to be vulnerable, being able to actually express your feelings.
It does, and that's a skill.
It is.
It takes time and experience to really develop that.
It's not something you can just learn overnight.
Not at all. It comes from going through the ups and downs of life, learning from mistakes, and understanding yourself and other people on a deeper level.
All right, so we've got scent, presentation, emotional maturity. What other kind of surprising triggers does the source get into?
Another one is adventure. And maintaining that sense of adventure can be really attractive.
Especially for older men.
Especially for older men, yeah, because it challenges that stereotype that, you get older and you get set in your ways.
Right.
Predictable.
So we're not talking about like reliving your college spring break days or anything.
No.
It's more about keeping that youthful spirit.
Yeah.
but obviously in a more mature, grounded way.
Exactly. It's about being open to new experiences, exploring different cultures, pushing your boundaries
In a way that feels authentic.
in a way that feels authentic. Yeah, it shows that you're still curious, you're still growing, you're still vital,
Right.
which is really attractive.
That's true at any age.
It is.
It's like saying, hey, I'm not done yet. I still have a lot of living to do, and I want to share that with someone.
Exactly. And younger women often want a partner who can broaden their horizons,
Right, of course.
introduce them to new things. So an older man who has that adventurous spirit,
It's appealing.
it can be really appealing, yeah.
It is. It reminds us that, age shouldn't define us.
It shouldn't.
We can keep growing, exploring, and that energy, that passion for life, it's magnetic.
It is, and it's tied into another point that the source makes, being driven by purpose.
Okay, so what's the connection between purpose and attraction?
Think about it. People who have goals, ambitions, who are driven to make a difference, they tend to be seen as more interesting, more attractive.
They are, yeah.
It suggests that they have depth of character, a sense of direction, a passion for something beyond themselves.
Yeah, it's like they're living a life that has meaning.
Exactly.
Mm.
And the source is saying that older men, they've often had more time to define their purpose, to find what they're really passionate about and pursue it.
They've had time to figure things out.
Yeah, and so they can radiate this really magnetic energy.
It's attractive.
It can be, yeah.
It is. It makes me wonder if, younger women who might still be figuring out their own paths are drawn to that sense of direction in older men.
That's a great point.
It's like being around someone who's found their North Star can be inspiring,
It can.
especially when you're still figuring out your own way.
Exactly. It's like having a mentor, someone who can offer wisdom and support.
Right, as you navigate those challenges and pursue your own dreams. Okay, so we've got adventure, purpose, what else? Patience.
Patience.
That seems like a big one.
It's a big one. It might seem like a simple virtue,
Yeah,
but it can be so attractive, especially in relationships.
it can be. Patience, that ability to stay calm in tough situations, to wait for things to unfold, to know that not everything happens overnight, it's a valuable quality.
It is. And the source says that older men, with all their life experience, well, they've learned that rushing things rarely leads to happiness that lasts.
Right, you learn to appreciate the journey, not just the destination.
Exactly. Savoring the present moment. And that grounded energy, it can be refreshing.
It can be.
In a world that feels so rushed, so impatient, it's like saying, hey, I'm not in a hurry. I'm here for the long haul.
Let's build something meaningful.
Exactly.
It makes you wonder if, again, younger women who might be surrounded by that go, go, go energy find that kind of patience really attractive.
I think so. I think they do. And the source hints that they are drawn to that stability, that sense of calm.
Okay, so we've got adventure, purpose, patience, anything else.
Mhm.
What about honesty?
Honesty, that's a big one.
It might seem like a basic principle,
It does.
but it's so important.
It's huge, and it's often overlooked in dating and relationships,
Honesty, being truthful, being transparent, being authentic. It's about showing up as your real self.
Without pretending to be someone else.
Without the games, the manipulation, yeah.
Yeah.
I can definitely see how that's the foundation of any strong connection.
It has to be.
It does.
The source is saying older men, they often understand the importance of honesty for building trust and intimacy.
Because they've learned, probably the hard way, that playing games or hiding who you are, well, it just leads to more heartache.
It does, yeah.
Right.
They've gotten to a place where they're more comfortable in their own skin,
Mm-hmm.
and they're not afraid to let that real self shine through.
Not trying to impress anyone, just being who they are.
Exactly.
And that authenticity, it can be so attractive.
It is, because it shows confidence, self-acceptance. It's like saying, take it or leave it, this is who I am.
It's refreshing.
It's refreshing.
It is. It makes you wonder if younger women who might be used to guys who are still figuring themselves out, putting on a show, do you think they find that genuine honesty even more appealing?
I think that's a really good point, yeah.
Like it creates a sense of safety, being with someone who's that comfortable in their own skin.
It does. It's like a breath of fresh air. It's like, I'm not here to play games. I'm here to be real with you, and I hope you'll be real with me.
Yeah, that vulnerability is powerful.
It is powerful, and that brings us to happiness.
Happiness.
The role of happiness in attraction.
Okay.
It seems simple, but it's often overlooked,
It is. Happiness, that feeling of joy, contentment, well-being. I mean, who doesn't want to be around somebody who's positive and enjoys life?
Exactly. The source is saying that older men, they've often reached a point of self-acceptance and contentment.
Hmm.
They radiate that kind of positive energy. They've learned to appreciate the simple things in life, find joy in the everyday moments.
They're not chasing external validation or trying to buy happiness.
They're not. No, they've realized that it's about cultivating inner peace, gratitude.
It's a state of being.
It is.
It comes from within.
Exactly.
It makes you wonder if younger women who might be surrounded by people who are still striving for that happiness, chasing after it, if they find that kind of grounded joy appealing.
I think they do, yeah. It's like being around someone who's already found their peace can be really inspiring.
Right. Like, hey, I've learned that true happiness comes from within, and I'm happy to share that joy with you.
And it can be contagious.
Yeah. Okay, so we've got happiness.
Mhm.
What about leadership? Does this source touch on that at all?
It does. And it says that leadership can be a really attractive quality. And it's not about being dominant or controlling.
Right.
It's more about confidence, being decisive, that willingness to take charge in a healthy way.
Okay, I'm intrigued.
Yeah.
How does that play out in terms of attraction?
Well, we tend to be drawn to people who are confident and competent, who have that sense of direction, and who will step up and lead when they need to.
Right.
It suggests strength of character, that willingness to make decisions.
Take responsibility.
Take responsibility.
Yeah, I can see how that would be attractive. It's not about being bossy. It's about being assertive, confident in your abilities, being the kind of person who can take the lead when it's needed, who can make plans and stick to them.
And provide a sense of stability.
Provide that stability.
Hmm.
Yeah, I can see it. And the source seems to be saying that older men tend to have a more developed sense of leadership because of, well, their experience.
They do. They've likely been in positions of responsibility. They've made tough decisions and learned how to handle challenging situations.
They've earned their stripes.
They have. And that translates into confidence, a quiet competence that can be really attractive.
Right, that they know what they're doing.
They do. It makes you wonder if younger women who might be surrounded by, guys who are still figuring out their own leadership style find that experience and that confidence appealing.
Yeah, it's like, you're drawn to someone who's already mastered those skills.
Right.
Especially if you're still navigating that yourself. It's like having a mentor in a way. Someone who can offer that guidance and support as you're developing your own leadership abilities.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've got leadership. Is there anything else that the source mentions that kind of stood out to you?
Social proof.
Social proof. Okay, remind me what that is.
Yeah, it's the idea that how attractive we find someone can be influenced by their standing in their community or their social circles.
Okay, yeah, I've heard of that. But how does it apply to attraction?
We're social creatures, right? And we're always looking for cues from other people.
To help us make decisions.
Yeah, to help us figure things out. So if you see someone who is respected by their peers, admired for their accomplishments.
Sought after,
yeah. It can influence how attractive you find them. It's like, well, if all these other people think this person is great, there must be something to it.
Right, like a shortcut for our brains.
Exactly. We don't have to figure everything out on our own. We can kind of rely on what other people are saying and doing.
Okay, so the source is saying that this social proof thing can be particularly relevant for older men.
It can, yeah. Older men have often had more time to establish themselves in their communities, build their reputations, cultivate those meaningful relationships.
They've achieved things. They've built up those social cues that signal value.
Exactly, and those cues can be really powerful in attracting the attention of other people.
Makes you wonder if younger women who are maybe still building up their own social networks and reputations find that kind of established social standing appealing.
I think they do. It's like being around someone who's already earned the respect and admiration of others, well, it can give you a sense of security.
Right, you're like, okay, this person has already proven themselves to other people. They must be worth getting to know.
Exactly. It can be a powerful signal.
It is. Okay, so we've got leadership, social proof, anything else. What about the whole financial stability thing?
That's a big one, and the source definitely addresses it head on.
It's a sensitive topic.
It is a sensitive topic, and, just to be clear, we're not talking about extravagant wealth or having to have a ton of possessions.
Right, it's not about being a millionaire or showering someone with gifts.
No. It's about responsibility. It's about maturity.
And that ability to provide security.
Right, demonstrating that you're capable of managing your finances well, making good decisions, and creating that stable foundation for yourself and the people you care about.
Right, it's showing that you're not reckless with money, you're thinking about the future, and you can provide stability.
Exactly, exactly.
And the source is saying that older men, they've had more time to establish their careers, build their savings, and develop that financial know-how.
They have.
So they might have an advantage in that area.
They do.
Right. It's like they've had more time to learn the ropes, make the mistakes and learn from them, and build a solid foundation.
Exactly.
And that stability, that's attractive. It signals maturity, responsibility, planning for the future. Those are all good things.
They are.
It makes me wonder if younger women who might still be, figuring out their own finances, their careers, if they find that stability extra appealing.
That's a good point. It's like being with someone who's already navigated those financial waters can create a sense of peace of mind.
Yeah.
Like, okay, they've got this handled. I don't have to worry about that.
I can focus on other things. Yeah.
Exactly.
Exactly. Okay, so we've got financial stability. Are there any other kind of surprising insights that the source offers?
Well, independence.
Independence.
Yeah. It's another one that's often overlooked, but that the source emphasizes.
Yeah.
And it's not about being aloof or emotionally distant.
Right.
It's about having a fulfilling life outside of romantic relationships.
Okay, so it's about having your own passions and interests.
Yeah, it's about being self-sufficient, having a strong sense of self.
Being comfortable spending time alone, pursuing your own goals, maintaining your individuality, even within a relationship.
Exactly. And the source suggests that older men often have an advantage here too.
Because they've had more time to, cultivate their own interests, their own social circles.
Right. They've had more time to become who they are, independent of, romantic partners.
And that kind of independence, it can be attractive, right?
It can. It signals confidence.
Self-sufficiency, not being needy or clingy.
Right. It's like saying, I'm not looking for someone to complete me. I'm already complete on my own.
Right.
But I'm happy to share my life with someone special.
It makes you wonder if younger women who might be surrounded by, people who are still trying to figure out their own identity, their place in the world, if they find that kind of grounded independence really appealing.
I think they do. It's like, being around someone who's already secure in themselves and their own lives can be really stabilizing.
Yeah.
You feel respected for your own individuality too.
It's like, I want to be with you, not because I need you, but because I choose to be with you.
Exactly.
And that choice, that agency, that's powerful.
It is powerful.
Okay. What about communication? Does this source touch on that at all?
Oh, it does. Big time.
Yeah. I mean, that's got to be key for any relationship.
It's essential.
Right. Being able to express yourself clearly, listen to your partner, understand their perspective.
It's about being able to have those meaningful conversations, to share your thoughts and feelings.
To work through disagreements constructively to build connection.
Exactly, exactly. And the source is saying that older men, with their life experience, they tend to be better communicators.
Well, they've had more practice. They've probably navigated more relationships.
They have, and they've learned from those experiences.
Right. They've had to have those tough conversations, and they've hopefully learned how to do it well.
Exactly. And that mastery of communication, it's attractive.
It is. It shows maturity. It shows emotional intelligence, that willingness to actually put in the work.
It does. It makes you wonder if younger women who might be around people who are still figuring out those communication skills find that kind of clarity and compassion really appealing.
I think they do. It's like being around someone who's already kind of mastered that art of communication. It can create a sense of ease,
Yeah.
Like, okay, we can actually talk about things and it's not going to be a big blow up.
It's safe.
It's safe.
Yeah. And that's attractive.
It is. Okay, so we've talked about independence, communication. Is there anything else that kind of jumps out from this source?
Mentorship. It's an interesting dynamic.
Mentorship. Okay, that is interesting. I don't think I've ever thought about that in the context of romantic attraction.
Right. But the source explores the idea of an older man taking on more of a mentor role rather than trying to compete with younger guys.
Okay, so mentorship, the idea of guiding and supporting someone younger, less experienced. How does that play out in a romantic relationship?
Well, older men, they have that wealth of experience and knowledge.
The wisdom, yeah.
They can offer a unique kind of support and guidance to younger women who might still be figuring things out.
Yeah.
And that dynamic can be attractive
It can.
because it shows generosity, a willingness to share what you've learned.
A genuine interest in helping someone else grow.
Exactly. It's like saying, hey, I've picked up a few things along the way and I want to share those lessons with you.
Yeah. And that can be really appealing, especially if you're at a point in your life where you're looking for that guidance.
It can.
It makes me wonder if, again, younger women who might be at a stage in their lives where they're seeking out, mentors, role models, if they find that kind of supportive presence attractive,
I think so.
like, okay, this person has already walked this path, they can help me navigate it.
Yeah,
That mentorship can be empowering.
it can be.
Okay, so we've got mentorship. Is there one final thing from this source that you think is really worth highlighting?
Yeah, the power of embracing your own value.
Embracing your own value? That's huge.
It is.
It's about recognizing your worth,
Yeah.
loving yourself for who you are,
Having a strong sense of self-worth.
not needing external validation.
Exactly. And the source says that older men often excel at this.
Because they've had more time to develop that strong sense of self.
Right. They've faced challenges, they've overcome obstacles.
Achieved successes.
Yeah, they've learned to appreciate themselves, flaws and all.
It's like they've reached a point where they're no longer seeking approval from others. They just know their worth. So far, we've been focusing on, the positive stuff, the qualities that make older men attractive. But I'm kind of curious about the flip side. Does the source mention anything about what younger women maybe don't find attractive?
It's a good question. The source doesn't really dwell on negativity, but it does kind of imply that certain traits that you might find in younger men can be turnoffs. It's not about bashing a whole generation or anything like that.
Right.
It's more about how experience can, lead to more polished behavior.
Yeah. So not a diss track, but just kind of contrasting those refined qualities with their opposites. I'm guessing things like insecurity or bravado probably don't rank high on the attractiveness scale.
You got it. The source contrasts genuine confidence with arrogance. And arrogance, well, that can be a big turnoff.
Yeah.
It's like that overcompensating, trying too hard,
Yeah. It comes across as insecure, even if it's meant to impress. It's like that saying, empty barrels make the most noise.
Right. Someone who's truly confident doesn't need to brag or put others down to feel good about themselves.
Exactly. And kind of on a similar note, the source contrasts emotional maturity with drama and impulsivity.
Oh, yeah. Those knee-jerk reactions, the over-the-top emotional displays, playing games, that kind of stuff. It might seem exciting at first,
Yeah.
but it doesn't really lay a good foundation for, a stable, fulfilling relationship.
Right. It's like you're trading long-term compatibility for that short-term excitement. And speaking of excitement, I'd imagine a lack of direction, a lack of purpose can be a bit of a turnoff too, right?
Absolutely. While a little spontaneity is fun,
Of course, yeah.
the source suggests that younger women, they often want more than just fleeting moments.
Right.
They want something that feels more substantial.
Yeah.
So a man with a sense of purpose, even if it's still evolving,
Yeah.
that can be seen as, more stable, reliable.
It's about being grounded, knowing where you're headed. That can be really attractive.
It can. And along similar lines, financial instability, that can be a major red flag.
Yeah.
And again, it's not about a specific income, it's about responsibility.
Right. It's not about being rich, but about managing your money well, making smart choices, planning for the future. It goes back to that security thing.
Exactly. And it's not just finances. A lack of independence, that clinginess, that neediness that can come from insecurity, that's also a turnoff.
Yeah, younger women, especially those who are ambitious, driven,
Yeah.
they want a partner who has his own life, his own interests, not someone who's like constantly looking for validation.
Exactly. It's about that balance,
Togetherness, but also individuality.
Being able to support each other without becoming totally dependent on the relationship.
Right. It's like the whole is greater than the sum of its parts.
I like that.
When two independent people come together,
Yeah,
it's powerful.
it is.
Okay, so we've talked about what makes older men attractive, and we've touched on some potential turnoffs as well. It's interesting, all these little things, these qualities, how they play into our perceptions of attraction.
It really is. Attraction is so complex. There's the conscious level and then all that stuff going on beneath the surface.
Right.
And it might be those deeper, more subtle things that create that real connection.
That make it last.
Exactly.
So, for our listener, what does this all mean? If you're listening to this and you're like, okay, this is interesting, there's more to attraction than meets the eye, what can you take away from all this?
I think the biggest thing is remembering that age, it's just one piece of the puzzle. The qualities that really attract someone, that maturity, that confidence, the emotional intelligence, those are things you can work on. You can cultivate at any age.
So it's not about trying to be someone you're not or pretending to be older.
No.
It's about focusing on personal growth, developing those qualities that'll make you a better partner.
Exactly. It's about becoming the best version of yourself for your own well-being and for the people you might attract.
And it's a two-way street, right?
It is.
The qualities you're drawn to in other people, they're probably looking for the same qualities in you.
Right.
So it's not just about understanding what makes someone attractive, it's about embodying those qualities yourself.
Becoming the kind of person you'd want to be with.
Exactly.
And that's a journey, you know?
It is.
It's a journey we can all take no matter our age or our experience. It's about self-awareness, it's about growth, it's about wanting to be better.
And that journey itself, that's attractive.
It is, because when you're working on yourself, when you're pursuing your passions, becoming more confident, it shows. It radiates outward and draws people in.
It's like that inner light just starts shining brighter.
And that kind of attraction, that's the kind that lasts. It's not about trends, it's not superficial. It's about genuine connection, shared values, that desire to grow and learn together.
So if you're listening and you're feeling inspired to like level up your own attractiveness, what are some practical things you can do? Where do you even start?
Well, I think self-awareness is key. Take some time to really reflect on your strengths and your weaknesses. What are you already proud of?
Yeah.
And what are some areas where you could use some improvement?
So an honest inventory of yourself.
Exactly. The good and the bad, you know.
Not to beat yourself up about it, but to figure out where to focus your energy.
Right. Once you have a better understanding of where you are, you can start focusing on those qualities that will make you a better partner.
So for example, if you know that communication isn't your strong suit, you can start making a conscious effort to listen better, to be clear when you're speaking, to work through conflicts in a healthier way.
Right. And if confidence is an issue, you can start taking steps to build your self-esteem, you know, focus on your accomplishments, celebrate your strengths, practice self-compassion.
And remember, it's not about trying to be someone you're not.
It's not, no.
It's about embracing who you are, highlighting your best qualities, the things that make you unique.
Exactly. Authenticity is key. People can spot a fake from a mile away.
Right.
Be yourself, because everyone else is taken.
There you go. But being yourself doesn't mean you can't try to be better, right?
Of course not.
We're always growing, always learning.
Always evolving. So be open to new experiences, challenge yourself, put yourself out there, and surround yourself with people who inspire you to be your best.
It's like a positive feedback loop. The more you invest in yourself,
The better you feel.
the more confident you become, and that attracts more positive experiences, more positive relationships.
Precisely. And that's the beauty of it all. Attraction, it's not just about finding someone else, it's also about finding yourself.
And when you embrace who you are and you commit to becoming the best version of yourself, well, that's when the magic happens.
It does. You're sending out that signal, like a beacon, you know.
Of authenticity.
Authenticity and confidence. And it attracts people who are on the same wavelength.
And those are the connections that really have the potential to last.
Exactly. Based on mutual respect, shared values, and a genuine desire to grow together.
So if you're listening and feeling inspired, remember, it all starts with you. Invest in yourself, embrace who you are, and watch as your life transforms.
And they are comfortable just being themselves.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is, you know, what makes them so attractive.
It does. It really does.
It makes me think of that quote, the greatest discovery of all time is that a person can change his future by merely changing his attitude.
Ooh, that's good.
Right. If you believe you're attractive, that you're worthy of love, well, you're going to project that energy.
You are. You're going to put it out there.
And it connects to one of the things the source emphasizes so much. Self-perception.
Yeah, I love that.
It's not about, you know, trying to fit some external standard of what's attractive.
Right.
It's about recognizing your own value.
Yeah, it's like the source is saying, stop chasing trends. Stop trying to fit into some mold that wasn't made for you.
Embrace what makes you you.
Exactly. It sounds cliche, but when you love and accept yourself, it really does show.
It does. It shines through.
And that self-assurance, that's magnetic.
It is. And it's not about arrogance.
No.
Or vanity. It's just that quiet confidence.
That inner knowing.
Yeah. That comes from knowing your worth.
And owning it.
Owning it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it makes me think of those people who walk into a room and they own it.
They did.
Not in a loud, you know.
Not in an obnoxious way.
No, not obnoxious, but just this quiet sense of
self-possession.
Self-possession, yeah, that you can't help but respect.
You're drawn to it.
You are.
Yeah.
And it's about embracing, you know, your age, your experience.
All those things that make you unique.
Things that make you you.
Yes.
And the source suggests that older men, they often really get this.
They
They've
know?
had more time to, figure out who they are,
Mhm.
what they stand for, what really matters.
Right, they've been through it.
They've weathered the storms, they've learned from their mistakes.
They have a deeper understanding of themselves and the world around them.
They do. And that wisdom, that depth, well, it can be really attractive.
It can be. It really can.
It's like they've earned their stripes, not through, conquest or competition,
Right.
but through experience and self-discovery.
Mhm.
And it's that journey, that willingness to embrace all of it, the ups and the downs, and learn from it.
Yeah.
That's what makes them so compelling.
It does. It's a good reminder that, true attractiveness isn't about trying to be someone else.
No.
It's about being the best version of yourself.
The best version of you.
Yeah, flaws and all.
Flaws and all, exactly.
Owning your story,
Yeah.
your journey, and letting that shine through.
And that authenticity, that
Yeah.
willingness to be, vulnerable, real.
That's what creates connection.
That's what it's all about.
It's what allows you to connect with other people on a deeper level, to
Yeah.
build trust, to build intimacy,
It's the foundation.
and to create relationships that are actually fulfilling.
It is.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, I'm curious, what's the one big thing you want our listeners to walk away with? What's that key message about attraction?
I think, if I had to boil it down, attraction is an inside job.
It is.
It starts with self-love, self-acceptance, a belief in your own worth.
It's not about trying to get other people to like you.
No?
It's about becoming the kind of person that you would be drawn to.
Exactly. And remember, those qualities we talked about, the maturity, the confidence, the emotional intelligence, the sense of purpose, all of that, those are things you can work on.
You can develop them.
You can, no matter how old you are or what you've been through.
So it's not about wishing you had something different
No.
or comparing yourself to other people.
Nope.
It's about taking ownership of your own growth
It is.
and making a conscious effort to, become the best version of yourself.
And as you work on yourself, you might be surprised by how your relationships start to transform too.
Oh, for sure.
It's like you're raising your own vibration.
You are.
And you start attracting people who are on that same wavelength.
People who get you.
People who appreciate you for you.
Yeah.
And that's the key to creating really lasting love, really fulfilling connections.
It is well said.
Thank you.
So to our listeners, if you're feeling inspired, if you want to learn more, check out the full source material.
It's great stuff.
It's packed with insights and some really practical tips.
It is.
And it might just change the way you think about
It
attraction
might.
forever.
It really might.
And remember, self-discovery, personal growth,
Yeah.
that's a journey.
It is.
Not a destination.
It's ongoing, so be patient.
Yeah, be patient with yourself.
Celebrate those small victories along the way.
Absolutely.
And enjoy the ride.
Enjoy the ride. That's great advice.
Thank you.
Well, until next time, keep diving deep, keep exploring, and keep those minds open.